Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. How y'all doing today? I have a few spare minutes, so I thought I'd take some time. It's been a while since we've done a soul video, so we're gonna dive in and see some souls that I've had in the past three and a half weeks or so. It's been almost a month since I've done a soul video. We've had some really great sales, so I'm excited. I am excited to share with you. If you're brand new here, I am Loving Life Freely here on YouTube. Welcome. I'm super excited to share with you the great sales we've been having, and I'm hoping that we'll continue to see even more sales coming through. And we are listing on Depop as well, and I am starting to see sales coming through Depop, which is pretty cool. But without further ado, let's dive in and see what sold, and then we'll wrap this up at the end. Okay, you guys, we are going to dive right into this. I think I had one Macari sale as well, so I'm just going to jump over really quick and see what my Macari sale was. Let me see if... excuse me, sorry. I feel like I have a frog in my throat. Okay, let me see if my... I got a microphone to see if it helps with volume. You guys will have to let me know if the volume's been any better. I don't know if this will work just doing this here, but we'll test it out. Okay, let me go and turn volume up really high so that you guys can hear. Okay, let's dive in here. I think, like I said, let's go into my listings and see. I think I had one that just finished. And, oh, that's right, I did have two. I had two. Macari, you know, we all know how Macari feels. I've been telling a friend of mine. There are times that I just want to completely ditch Macari, and then other times it's like, okay, maybe I won't ditch Macari, because sometimes the sales, even if they're just one or two, I don't know. It's one of those things where you just get really mad at it and you just want to flush it, and other times you just know that you probably shouldn't. Okay, so this one again was just another great little jewelry piece. You know, I used to do a lot of jewelry. I'm not listing jewelry anymore, but I still have quite a bit listed. I'm not focusing on jewelry anymore as far as actual listings. But I'm still selling what has been listed. These were probably like 50 cents, so as you see, it sold for $9. And Macari fees are so minimal. So anyway, that was another piece sold. This here I've had for quite some time. I was so happy to see that this sold. I bought some vintage dresses in a box a really long time ago, probably a couple years ago now. Paid like $5.71 per dress, and this one sold on Macari. I was so excited. So great profit on this. Again, I paid $5.71 for it, and that's what it sold for. So I was really excited about that. Okay, we did have a couple on Depop as well, so let's go over and show those to you as well. I had this one. It was a set of bracelet pieces, again from jewelry. It sold for $7.77. Again, they were like 25 or 50 cents a piece. So as you can imagine, good profit on that one. And then I sold... I am selling those scrub tops that I showed you in that one haul that I got for free at that garage sale. This one in particular sold for $15. It was a floral scrub top. Somebody sent me an offer and I accepted the $15 offer. And then I had sold some shorts. These I've had for a very long time. Probably 3 or more years, so I was super excited to get an $11 offer on those on Depop and get those out the door. Now on Depop, you guys, I am getting lots and lots of offers, and I'm sending offers. And I have actually reached out to Depop. They have surveys where you can do surveys, and I've also reached out to them as a company, and I've asked them that they put through on Depop so that whether the buyer sends an offer to the seller or the seller sends an offer to the buyer, that once the offer is sent and they accept the offer, once the offer is accepted, that it automatically goes to payment and sold. Just like on eBay. You know how on eBay and Poshmark, once that offer is accepted, it's automatic payment is taken. On Depop, it's not like that. On Depop, you can accept an offer, they can accept an offer, but they have to actually go through the process of payment. It should be automatic that when an offer is accepted, payment happens. Tell me in the comments below if you agree with that, that once offer is accepted on either end, payment should occur immediately. And I've reached out to Depop a couple times asking, please implement this. And I also did a survey where they were talking about shipping, and I asked them, please, please, please implement this on Depop. So we shall see if that comes through. Again, let me know in the comments if you agree with that. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into Poshmark. We did have quite a few sales on Poshmark, and then I'll also show you eBay as well. Okay, Poshmark. I'm going to show you just the individual pieces as we go. Okay, I purchased this piece at a garage sale before I had to go out to Montana, and I picked it up for $4. Now this is one of those situations where somebody made a purchase on Poshmark, she received it, and you can see that I did give measurements. I always, always, always give measurements. I'm learning even on jackets. I don't care what it is. If it's a clothing piece, I give measurements. And she's answered me saying how much she absolutely loved the jacket, but she said it was too small. So she put in a request through Poshmark, or asked me to return it. And so I forwarded it to Poshmark because I know that I put measurements in. And Poshmark did answer her back saying that the listing was stated correctly with actual measurements in it, and they refused the return. Tell me in the comments below on this one also if you agree with Poshmark. I do, because I put measurements in. If they don't look at the measurements, that is not my fault. My listing has everything in it. It even says in the description, please see measurements in pictures. And it drives me crazy when people don't actually look at the full listing to see if they want to buy it. They did deny her request to return, and I made a nice little profit on this piece, which I was so excited about. And so let me see, show the details. So it sold for $65. Their fee was $13. I made $52 on that, and I paid $4 for it. Super great sale. All right, let's move on back to orders. Come on. All right, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Okay, I've sold some more J. Crew out of that J. Crew box that I bought last spring, which is very exciting. Y'all know my cog on this was $8. This was a J. Crew sweater. Sold for $20. Their fee of $4. Sorry about that, guys. And I made $16. So I doubled my money on that. I was so happy to get that one moved out. Next, we have, okay guys, I have been picking up more shoes at the thrift store. I've been very particular with what I'm picking up. I had already had these for a while, and they got relisted finally, and they sold. I do well with clogs, and I don't know why. These were Dansko. I probably paid like $4.75 for those through a box or at the thrift store. Again, it's been a long time since I bought shoes, but I think it was the kind of shoes, because a lot of the shoes that I was getting were through those thread-up shoe boxes. So my shoes weren't selling. But now when I buy shoes, I am picking them out. These sold for $30. Minus their fee, so I made $24. Very good profit on those. Super excited for that, and I'm excited to sell more shoes that I myself pick out. All right, this is a top that I have had for a very long time. This was from that last bulk thread-up box that I ordered. It was a super pretty top. It was by Alfani, and it had all this great detail on it. It was a size 2X. I've had this for about a year and a half, and my cog on this was $1.05. It finally sold for $20, and I made $16 on it. Really good profit, but I didn't want to have to wait a year and a half. I'm just so excited that somebody purchased it and they loved it. All right, moving on. The next one, Coach. Okay, this was another one of those things, guys, that I bought a bunch of stuff from a seller who stopped reselling, gosh, again, a couple years ago. And I got these Coach shoes, and I think I paid like $8 a piece or $7 a piece for more items in her box. Really great cog for Coach, but these guys sat. Finally got them delisted or relisted, and they finally sold. This just goes to show, y'all know, even a year and a half, 2 years ago, if it was Coach purses, Coach shoes, they flew off the shelf. Even 2 or 3 years ago, you could not keep Coach in your store. It just flew off the shelf, and it certainly did not sell for just $29. They'd sell for $50, $80. But you know what? I was just so glad I got my money back, and they sold for a decent price. Again, I think it was $7 or $8, maybe $5 into those. They sold for 29, so great profit on these. Super happy to finally have those out the door after a couple of years. Very, very happy with that. All right, let's move on. I did sell some more jewelry. You'll see this. My cog on this was $15. It was a very pretty Kathy pendant, and I did not think that this would sell because it had the name on it, but it did sell. So again, $12. You can figure out just by that detail. $2.95, made $9. Really great profit on that piece. Very happy to have another jewelry piece sold. All right, and again, another jewelry piece sold. Again, 50 cents. This was a really cool Chico's piece. Error. Sorry, guys. Let me see if it'll pull up again. There we go. It was a Chico's bangle. It was really kind of a cool piece. You guys might actually recognize some of these pieces from the videos that I used to do. So as that one sold, and it sold for $13. I made $10. So again, really great profit on these items. So if you do want to do fashion jewelry, you got to make sure that your cog is really low so that you know that you're making a profit. Okay, next item was this J. Crew mini skirt. I do not sell a lot of skirts. I was really happy to see this one sell. This had a really great vintage look to it. It was a mini skirt, definitely cottagecore Y2K, J. Crew, sold for $15. Obviously, either I sent an offer out or somebody sent me an offer. I don't worry about making sure you guys know all that. You guys know how Poshmark works. Sold for $15. My profit was $12. I paid $3 for this one. So again, really great profit on a piece that again I've had for probably a couple years. I got that one quite some time ago. So I'm really excited to be moving some older pieces. All right, this one was a mistake on my part. As we all know as resellers, guys, it's always important to make absolutely sure you acknowledge when you make a mistake. This was one of those shoes from, again, a thread-up shoe box that I bought probably 3 years ago. They've been sitting around upstairs for I don't know how long, and this was back when I was not taking very good pictures, and I did not take a picture of the size on these. I sold them, and it said 7.5. I did not double-check the size on it when I sold the other day either, not thinking. And apparently when she received them, she did put in a thing to Poshmark saying that the item was not the size listed and in the listing, and Poshmark did say go ahead and return. I was fine with that because I honestly, since I don't know what size they actually were because there was no picture of the size in the listing from the shoe, I was happy to get those back. And honestly, once I do get them back, they're probably just going to go to either buy, sell, trade, or the thrift store. I'm going to be just getting rid of all that kind of stuff. So anyway, these did sell, but I'm just getting them back and we'll go from there. Okay, moving on. All right, you guys, I cannot explain to you how excited I am. Again, I've been talking to a friend. She knows who she is. She's just one of my really, really dear friends. I just love this girl like crazy. Her and I talk about sourcing your own items. Now, y'all know if you've been following me for a while, for about 2 years, I was getting boxes in for sourcing instead of going out and buying my own stuff. I am not doing that anymore. I have just told my husband, no more of this. If I'm going to really grow my business, I'm going to go pick out the items, because not only did my sales slow down because I was doing lives, but my sales also slowed down because I stopped sourcing my own items. I was getting boxes in because I didn't think the travel would be worth it, and because see, when I first started reselling, I was sourcing my own items. Then we thought, okay, we'll just have items delivered during the the snow season, and I just did that all year round. I did that for a couple of years, and I really think that affected my sales. I'm sourcing my own items again, guys, and a lot of the stuff that I've been sourcing the last couple of weeks is selling. I am so excited about this. Okay, this I picked up for $10, and some of these items I paid up for a little bit, but it's starting to pay off. I am so excited about this, guys. I paid $10 for this at a thrift store. Now, when I was sourcing before also, I was sourcing brand-based. Now, I source based on a brand only if the cog makes sense, and I also am sourcing vintage and style-based. So this particular thrift store where I got this, before, I didn't like going there because I was only sourcing brand-based years ago, 2 and 3 years ago when I started sourcing there. In this store, you don't do sourcing brand-based. It just doesn't work. But if you're sourcing based on style or vintage, it definitely works. Or if you're sourcing based on men's. I picked this up. Y'all know I've been doing my research when I do my sourcing differently now. If you don't know what I'm referring to, go back and watch my last haul, which was my bins haul. I kind of talk about it a little bit in that. So I've been using this information to research my items. Paid $10 for this, guys. I had it listed for, I think, 40 or 45. She sent me a $35 offer, 100% yes, because even once they took out my fees and everything, guys, I tripled my money on this piece. Sold it for $35 and made $28. I paid $10. I almost tripled my money on this piece, and I'm so excited. She loved the item. I'm just super excited. I'm sourcing my own items again because my items are starting to sell better, and I'm just very, very excited about it. Okay, this one's still in transition, as you can see. But this was another piece I sourced at my regular thrift store, St. Vincent's, that y'all know I love to source at. I paid $4.75 for this item, and this was an absolutely gorgeous Sundance extra large velvet with the bell sleeves top. This was absolutely stunning. I thought, there's no way I'm going to leave this here. And it was partly silk. I thought, man, I'm going to pick this up, and sure enough, within a week, this thing sold. I was so excited. So there's another really great piece. Let's go back and look at what the numbers were. It sold for $41. I paid $4.75. My profit was $32.80. Very, very, very excited about that. All right. And then I sold a piece that I've had for a while. It's a men's piece. I got this a very, very long time ago in a men's box from ThreadUp, so it was $3 into it. It finally sold the other day. I received an offer for $14, and I was like 100% yes, let's get this out the door. Thank you, Lord. I sold it finally and made $11, so I actually ended up tripling my money because, again, I was $3 into this, made $11 on it, so I'm very, very excited about that. Okay, let's move on to eBay. Had some good sales on eBay as well, y'all. I'm very, very happy with the way things are going. All right, we're going to go to right here. We are right here. Okay, so let's open this up. These are some Levi Light Wash 569 straight blue jeans for men. Okay, these did well. Very, very good. Let me see if I can figure out on eBay actually what I'm going to do for y'all. Let me, because on eBay, you can't, when you make a sale on eBay, you can't actually tell what it's sold for. See what I'm saying? You can't do that on eBay. It's different. So let me go over here, and because I have the number, my item number here. Sorry I'm scrolling. I don't mean to make y'all dizzy, but let me give you some numbers on this so you guys can see. All right, here we go. Let's take a look here. So this one sold, okay, it sold, selling price was $24.95. Let me scroll back up so you can see. Selling price was $24.95, okay. My marketplace fees were $3.57. Cost of goods was $3, so this was from a men's ThreadUp box from a long, long, long time ago. And this was back when I was doing free shipping, so I paid $7.75 in shipping. My profit was $10.63, so I still tripled my money on this, and this did sell. So I was very, very excited about that. All right, let's go back to where we were, y'all. Okay, again, another J. Crew women's. Now, again, these pieces were when I was doing free shipping. I will update you, I'm no longer doing free shipping on eBay. If you want me to do a video on why I'm no longer doing free shipping on eBay, I would be happy to explain that to you if you guys request me to do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue to go forward, and we'll go from there, okay? All right, this one, my numbers on this one, I'm going over to my other screen so I can tell you guys what the numbers were. This one sold for $31.45, so it was not $34. They did receive an offer and they accepted the offer. Obviously, I paid $8 for this one. And I did pay shipping expense on this one because I was offering free shipping, which is $4.74. My profit on this piece was $14.42. So $8 cost plus profit. So I did very well on that piece. All right, let's keep going. And then I believe at this point I had, okay, let me see here. so I don't make you guys dizzy. Let me look up the number first for y'all real quick so we know what we have here. And now I can give you numbers here. Okay, this is where I stopped paying for the shipping. So this one, people are now paying for shipping again. This one, it sold for $21.95. My cost of goods on this was probably around $3 or $4. My net profit was $21.95. I don't have cost of goods implemented into this one, but yeah, I paid $3 for this. So even if you take $3 out of the 21, I still made a profit of $19 on that particular piece. Okay, very cool. Let's go back to the next item that was sold. I sold some more jewelry. This was an Avon piece. Really cool piece. And let me go back on here and show you what I sold this one for. Okay, did that one not register? Oh, it didn't. Huh. Okay, that one didn't even register as sold on my thing here. Okay, so give me just a second, guys. Okay. So this one sold for $19.95. And my profit on that, I probably paid like 50 cents again for that one, so really good profit on that one. I just kind of fumbled the numbers because I didn't want to waste you guys' time going through. But either way, this one sold for really good money. Whether it sold for $20, I'm honestly not sure. It's saying $19.95 here, so they may have paid full price for that one. All right, let's move on. We have a vintage CJ Banks. This was a piece that I picked up at the garage sale when I was out and about before I went out to Montana. So this was back in the beginning of June. I paid $1 for this at a garage sale, and I decided to just test it out. Because remember, this was back when I decided to start doing more vintage. This is CJ Banks vintage, guys. And I still cannot believe that this sold. I was so happy with this. Let me get the number for it, and I can give you guys some numbers here. Because like I said, on here you can't determine that. So let me get you some numbers. Okay, this piece sold. Okay, it sold for $24.95. Again, I paid $1 for it. And my fees were probably around $3, something like that. So very good profit on this vintage CJ Banks. This was super cute. I was so happy I picked that up, and it sold within a couple months. Alright, you guys, now we're getting down to more items that I've sourced myself. I picked this piece up. I told you I've been doing research differently when I go out sourcing now. I do it through ChatGTP. They said that this was a really good find. I paid $4.75 for this at St. Vincent's, and it's sold literally within a couple days of being listed. I could not believe that. I was so excited that this sold. Very good piece. Okay, so my numbers on this. Okay, so again, I was into it $4.75. It sold for $20. I received an offer for $20. My cost of goods was $4.75. My marketplace fees were $3.90. I made $11.35 on that. So very good profit. So I doubled my money, plus I got my card back, and it sold in 2 days. I was so excited about this. This was an absolutely gorgeous vintage cotton size extra large blazer that I found at the thrift store. Super exciting. All right, let's go back here. This is another piece that I picked up at the thrift store. This was actually at Goodwill. This was again, I think I sourced this just before I went to Montana. So I've had this for a little bit. And then I listed it in the beginning of September after I got back from Montana. Because some of the stuff, guys, that I had sourced, I couldn't actually list because not only was I in Montana for a couple weeks with my dad and everything, but it was about a month and a half, 2 months before I was actually able to get back to doing listings from all the stuff that I had sourced. So this was listed the 1st of September. So this was about a month ago, and it sold 2 days ago. I was so excited about this, you guys. My buying cost on this was probably, let me see here. Yeah, $4.75 at the thrift store. Paid $4.75 for this. It sold for $29.95. And yeah, so really, really good profit on that one as well. My fees are probably a few dollars. Very, very exciting. All right, let me get back over here. Sorry, guys, a little bit botched up tonight on the solds. Me going back and forth on things, I apologize. All right, there's kind of a story to this one. The person purchased these from me a couple days ago. This is what, Wednesday? They purchased this from me probably Monday. And then they messaged me, no, Sunday night, and then they messaged me Monday saying that the size tag was different than the measurements and they were concerned about it fitting or not. So I answered them back because I verified via my my listing that I had put the measurements in, and I had also gone down here in the listing and I said measurements differ from tag due to wear or washing. Please use measurements for size. And then I said measurements and pics. I always do that when the size tag is different than the measurements, just to cover my butt, okay? So she answered back saying, I noticed the size tag is different than the measurements. So I let her know it was noted that in the description. So I said, it was noted that. And then the next morning I said, if you have an issue with this, please let me know in case you need to cancel. And I didn't hear from her all day. So last night I messaged her and I said, this item will ship if I do not hear back from you tonight. This will ship tomorrow morning. Never heard a peep from her, so this item shipped. Now if she comes back on eBay saying that she wants to return due to not fit, I'm going to post that conversation to eBay and let them know, no, we had a conversation and she didn't answer me back, and then I told her I was going to ship it if she didn't answer me back, and she didn't. So I want to know from you guys again in the comments below what you think about the situation. I shipped because I gave her 2 days, told her about the note in the description, gave her the measurements, and I said, I even gave her a heads up a day early, I'm going to be shipping this if I don't hear from you. Tell me if you've run into this before and if you think I handled that right. Alright, so anyway, these did sell for $24.95. My COG on this was $3. Okay. So, very good. $24.95, and I honestly don't know. Let me see what my numbers were on this. Okay, okay, so my numbers on this one, I was into these $3. They did sell for $24.95. And I paid $3 for them. My fees were probably a few dollars, so really good profit on that. Okay? And these were Levi's 501. So, yeah. Okay, guys, so that's the last one on eBay. Let's close this video out. Guys, thank you so much for bearing with me on that sold video. I was not quite as organized as I probably could have been, but I at least wanted to get this out to you, show you what has been selling since I started listing again the beginning of September. Right now I'm listing 5 items a day. I'm bumping it up to 7 items a day, and I'm hoping by December I'll be doing 10 items a day. And I'm hoping going back to the bins, between bins and sourcing it in my stores, that will kind of even my COG out to be better COGs, because I'll be able to get more stuff at the bins now too at less than $2 a piece. So let me know in the comments below. Tell me what you think about these solds. If your solds are been on average, or if you're doing better on solds, or how things are going. I'm super excited to be sourcing the bins more. I'm going to be making a trip again in just over probably about a week and a half to go down and get some more stuff. I'm very, very excited about that. And guys, let me know how you're doing. Tell me again what your thoughts are on my questions regarding those 2 items, or those items when I told you to comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on those pieces. And on the items that are selling, tell me what you think about these items that are selling. And guys, again, tell me how your sales are doing too. I'm really curious. If some people are still having really low sales, or things are starting to pick up for people. As always, guys, be productive. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.